Even though I came, which I think I had an advantage over a lot of IPs, even those that I had met in the department, because one, I had that clinical knowledge as as a registered nurse and have worked in different healthcare settings, so that kind of helped me a lot. Um, I also I was a science student, and in college, I took two biology classes while I was in my undergrad. So that microbiology was not as difficult as it would have been for a regular nurse, because microbiology coverage in nursing was very basic. And so for a nurse, when you come in, that's the area that you really need to focus a lot on learning as an IP. I had some advantage because I took those biology classes, and so it helped me a lot. And then my program prepared me epidemiology. I had the basic concepts. I had those very well covered, and I was very comfortable in those. Um, but there were aspects of the role that I don't think any education could prepare you for. I needed to learn those on the job, as well as navigating the relationships. So that was the one thing that I spent my first year really doing, was trying to navigate cultivating those relationships, because the role of the IP, while we have all this knowledge, we are not the ones that are kind of translating that evidence to practice. And so you need to have these really strong and trusting relationships where you can, influence that change on the front line. And so that's where I put a lot of focus on. And I think what helped me be able to have that mindset was being a nurse on the front line. There were some things that I did not appreciate when my APs would come and be like, hey, this is what you're not doing right. And so I brought that experience and understanding and being able to speak from a place of knowledge and experience when I talk to my colleague, the nurses on the front line, about why they needed to prioritize, like changing a catheter or a dressing, or even putting a date on on the dressing. As a nurse, when you've run around for 12 hours just trying to keep a patient alive, and that you haven't even taken a break, and then somebody from outside just comes in to tell you you forgot to put a date on the dressing, that becomes so minuscule and it almost sounds petty, and it can be frustrating. And so I take that knowledge with me and use that to my advantage to help me cultivate these relationships while also trying to educate. I think that really helped me. A lot of my successes, I kind of trace back to having that experience myself, and so I use that to kind of help. But it was a learning curve despite all of the knowledge that I came in with, because infection prevention is one of those um, healthcare fields where it touches everything. One day I am like a structural engineer trying to figure out issues related to a flood that got into a building, and now we're trying to figure out how do we make sure that this building is safe for occupancy. Or on any given day, there could be, you're dealing with an outbreak here, which is kind of normal infection prevention stuff. But then there could be other things that just I wasn't prepared for, like construction. Infection prevention in construction was not something that I covered in school, but I quickly learned that, yeah, as an IP, that's also your responsibility. Um, and so a lot of those things, like disinfection, sterilization, we covered it in school, but until you really get into the nitty gritty, you don't know what you don't know. So I spent a lot of my first year really learning and applying these skills, as well as continuing to explore how far infection prevention stretches. But I come to find out it's like it stretches all across everything in healthcare, from the buildings to the people. You work across all departments and all disciplines. And so that was, I think, a learning curve despite all of the knowledge that I came in with.